The atmosphere inside the arena was electric, filled with the sound of eager anticipation and the hum of excited conversations. It was a night that promised to deliver on all fronts: big names, thrilling matchups, and of course the main event. That had fans buzzing for weeks. The Kambosos versus Wyllie card was shaping up to be a true spectacle in the world of boxing, and the excitement was palpable from the opening bell. Fans were already on their feet, ready to witness some of the finest talents in the sport go to war. This was not just another fight night. It was a culmination of months of anticipation, hard work, and dedication. The undercard was stacked with matchups that showcased the depth of talent in the sport today. Each fighter had something to prove. Whether it was an up-and-coming prospect looking to make a name for themselves, or a seasoned veteran looking to remind the world why they still belong at the top. It was the perfect build-up to the main event, giving the crowd a taste of the intense action that would unfold later in the night. The opening rounds saw a flurry of punches, exchanges, and moments that would have any boxing fan on the edge of their seat. Every fight had its own story. Some were dominated by quick knockouts, while others were defined by gritty back-and-forth exchanges. One of the standout performances of the undercard came early on in the night, as a young fighter came out swinging. His opponent, a tough veteran, was no match for the speed and precision of the newcomer's attacks. The fight was over in the second round, a brutal knockout that had the crowd roaring. It wasn't just the way the fighter landed his punches, but the sheer confidence in his ability to control the ring. The veteran fighter was on the receiving end of a vicious uppercut that sent him crashing to the canvas. And just like that, another contender had announced himself in the world of boxing. The crowd couldn't help but cheer as the referee counted to 10, and with the bell ringing to end the round, the victor stood tall in the center of the ring, raising his arms in triumph. The knockout was a statement. This fighter was here to make waves. As the night continued, the action only ramped up. The technical battles that followed saw fighters relying on their skill, footwork, and boxing IQ to outmaneuver their opponents. One fight in particular stood out for its display of tactical brilliance. One fighter, known for his slick movement and sharp jabs, spent the first few rounds working his opponent over, slowly breaking him down with precision and patience. It was a masterclass in control as the fighter danced around the ring, never allowing his opponent to settle into any rhythm. Every time the opponent tried to mount an attack, the slick boxer was already one step ahead, using his footwork to stay out of range and his jab to keep the pressure on. By the later rounds, it was clear that the fight was slipping away from the challenger, and when the bell finally rang to signal the end of the contest, there was little doubt about who had won. The fighter had shown what it meant to be a true technician in the sport, and the audience was left in awe of his performance. But not every undercard matchup was defined by calm, controlled tactics. Some of the fights were all-out wars, with fighters swinging for the fences and trying to break each other down with every punch. There was one particular bout that had the crowd on its feet as two fighters stood toe-to-toe in a brutal exchange. Each punch seemed to land with more force than the last, and the crowd could feel the intensity building with each passing round. Neither fighter seemed willing to back down, both digging deep to find that extra bit of heart to outlast the other. The sounds of gloves hitting flesh echoed throughout the arena as the two warriors traded blows, neither giving an inch. The fight was a reminder of the raw, brutal nature of boxing, a sport that tests not just the body, but the very spirit of the athletes who step into the ring. The undercard had set the stage, but now it was time for the main event. The fighters were ready, the crowd was restless, and the tension in the air was almost unbearable. On one side you had George "Ferocious" Kambosos, the former world champion known for his relentless fighting style and unshakable confidence. His reputation as a warrior was well established, and he had the respect of fans and fighters alike. On the other side, there was Wyllie, the hungry challenger looking to make a name for himself by dethroning Kambosos and capturing the spotlight. Wyllie had earned his shot at the big time through a series of impressive victories, and now he was ready to take on the biggest challenge of his career. The bell rang, and the fight was underway. From the first round, both fighters were intent on establishing their dominance. Kambosos, as always, came out aggressively, pushing the pace and forcing Wyllie to fight at his tempo. The challenger, however, was more than ready for the test. Wyllie used his sharp jab and footwork to keep Kambosos at bay, refusing to let the former champion dictate the pace of the fight. Kambosos, though, was relentless, pressuring Wyllie with constant movement and heavy punches. Each round was a battle of wills, as Kambosos looked to wear Wyllie down with his relentless aggression, while Wyllie tried to outbox him and control the distance. The middle rounds were where the fight truly began to heat up. Kambosos landed a massive right hand in the third round that sent Wyllie staggering backward. It looked like Kambosos might have him hurt, but the challenger showed his resilience. Wyllie quickly regained his footing, and by the fourth round he was back on the attack, using his jab to set up counterpunches and creating angles to land his own shots. The fight had become a back-and-forth battle, with both fighters taking their turns controlling the action. Kambosos would land a big punch, only for Wyllie to respond with a combination of his own, proving that he was not going to be intimidated. As the rounds went on, it became clear that this was a fight of attrition. Both men were beginning to show signs of wear, their faces marked by the effects of the brutal exchanges. But neither fighter was willing to back down. Kambosos continued to press forward, using his experience to try and break Wyllie's resolve. Wyllie, though, was holding his ground, showing a level of heart and determination that surprised many in the arena. Each time it looked like Kambosos might be able to take control, Wyllie would fire back, refusing to let the fight slip away from him. By the later rounds, it was anyone's fight. The crowd could feel the tension building as both fighters poured everything they had into their punches. Kambosos began to land more frequently, his combinations flowing with precision and power. But Wyllie's heart was undeniable. In the 10th round, as Kambosos unleashed a flurry of punches, Wyllie dug deep, staying in the pocket and firing back, showing the kind of toughness that boxing fans admire. It was a round that left everyone in the arena breathless. Finally, after 10 brutal rounds, the fight came to an end. Both men stood in the center of the ring, breathing heavily and soaked in sweat, but with respect in their eyes. They had given everything they had, and now the judges would decide who had earned the victory. As the decision was read, the crowd waited in anticipation. No matter who the winner was, both fighters had earned the respect of everyone in the arena. Boxing is often about more than just a belt. It's about heart, courage, and the will to push through, even when everything seems against you. And on this night, both Kambosos and Wyllie showed all of that and more.